When a narcissist starts a sentence with, "So, what you're really saying is," that's your signal to pause. They are not clarifying. They are reshaping your words into something you never said. It's one of the oldest tricks in their playbook. You already know what usually follows when they feel control slipping away. Gaslighting, deflection, accusations that you're the one overreacting. But before they even get there are subtle clues. This isn't about the aftermath. This is about spotting the setup before it even happens. If you can catch these signs early, you have a chance to stop the spiral. You don't have to get defensive, explain yourself endlessly, or let them hijack the whole exchange. Instead, you can redirect the dynamic with a calm, precise response that closes the trap before it snaps shut. I've spent 2 decades immersed in this work, as a coach, an author, and someone who's lived through it personally. My focus has always been on teaching practical systems that restore self-worth and give people back their power, no matter the situation. In this video, I'm breaking down 3 of the most common conversational traps narcissists set, and I'll share the simple 3-word reply that ends the game on the spot. So why do narcissists twist your words in the first place? To understand that, think of a pickpocket in a busy square. He doesn't look dangerous. He blends into the crowd with a harmless smile, and maybe even a polite apology if he bumps your shoulder. It feels so minor you hardly notice. Hours later, though, when you reach for your wallet, keys, or card, it's gone. And with it, access to your accounts, your identity, your peace of mind. Pickpockets don't storm in like armed robbers. There's no threat, no shouting, no visible aggression. That's why it works. They move in silence, and by the time you realize something's missing, they are long gone. The whole scheme runs on 3 steps: the approach, the distraction, the extraction. The bump and smile aren't random. They are practiced and designed to seem ordinary. While you're reacting to that little moment, your attention shifts. That second of distraction is all it takes. The hand is already in your pocket, and he knows exactly what he's there for. By the time you notice, it isn't just about what's gone. It's about the mess that loss creates. Conversations with narcissists operate on the same principle. They don't bulldoze their way in. They slip past your guard. And often, this tactic doesn't show up because you failed to set a boundary. It shows up because you did, and they didn't like it. Maybe you said something simple yesterday, like, "I'm not sure if I can make it to your party." It felt clear and honest. No drama. But to them, it was a line drawn. And that's when the game begins. Then, out of nowhere, they drop a line like, "I guess I'll just go alone since you don't care about my family." That isn't a slip of the tongue. That's the setup, the bump in the crowd. Just like the brush of a pickpocket's shoulder, it feels small, almost forgettable, but it's deliberate. It's the first move in the sequence. Naturally, your instinct is to explain. You assume they misheard you or that your tone didn't come across the way you intended. You replay the conversation, carefully rephrasing what you said, softening your words so they won't feel attacked. But that's exactly what they want. The moment you shift from standing firm to managing their emotions, they've pulled off the distraction. Your focus is no longer on what you meant, it's on soothing them. And while you're busy doing that, the real theft is already happening. What they're after isn't clarity. It's your energy, your time, your emotional labor. They sit back, watching you twist yourself into knots trying to prove your innocence, and that display is their reward. In their mind, it confirms superiority. Look how easily I can make you dance. It isn't miscommunication, it's exploitation. They are weaponizing your empathy, turning your good intentions into a tool for their control. The high they get is not just from winning the point. It's from watching you scramble while they stay smug, convinced they are sharper, untouchable, beyond accountability. There's a simple 3-word response that cuts this entire game short. Before I give it to you, though, I want to walk through a couple of other traps so you know exactly how to recognize them and why this response works every time. Take another classic con from the streets. Someone approaches looking lost, clutching a wrinkled map, fumbling with their phone, pointing at a street sign. They ask, "Excuse me, can you help me find this place?" And of course, you lean in. You try to be kind. You give directions. maybe even take the map to show them. But the act was never about finding their way. It was about distracting you long enough for their partner to slip a hand into your bag. Narcissists use the same maneuver in conversation. Maybe they are bored. Maybe they feel the spotlight drifting away. Maybe they are craving that sense of being special. So they put on the performance of the confused tourist. Only instead of asking where Main Street is, they tilt their head and say, "I'm not sure I understand what you mean." Or, "Wait, can you explain that again?" It sounds harmless, but it isn't. That's the approach. That's how they hook you. And because you're caring, you do what most people do. You lean in. You explain. You reframe your words to sound softer, clearer, easier for them to digest. You think you're helping, when in reality, you're already holding the map while they quietly reach for your pocket. That moment when you lean in to clear things up, that's the distraction. They already know exactly what they are after. The instant you start trying to resolve their fake confusion, they've succeeded. Your focus shifts from standing firm to helping them. And in that shift, they quietly help themselves to something far more valuable. Your energy, your attention, and even your confidence in your own voice. Why do they do it? Because watching you scramble to fix things feeds them. Seeing you explain, soothe, and defend makes them feel powerful, as though they've pulled the strings and you've danced right on cue. Think about another street con. A person walking ahead of you drops something, a scarf, maybe a wallet, maybe their keys. That's the approach. You see it fall, and of course your instinct is to help. You stoop, you pick it up, you hand it back. That's the distraction. But the truth is, they never needed that scarf. The drop was bait, because while you were bending down in kindness, your eyes off your surroundings, the real move was already happening. The extraction was complete before you even looked up. Narcissists use the same trick in conversation. Imagine you're at a dinner table and casually say, "Didn't sleep well last night." They grin and reply, "Or was our chat too stimulating for your delicate nerves?" It sounds like a playful tease, but it isn't. That's the drop. Hidden in the joke is a jab, painting you as fragile or dramatic. And just like the scarf on the pavement, you feel compelled to pick it up. You laugh awkwardly, then rush to explain, "No, I'm not sensitive. I just had too much coffee." That's the redirect. In trying to prove yourself, you've already given them what they wanted. Proof that they can unsettle you, push you into performing for their approval, and make you defend your own normal feelings. So how do you stop a pickpocket? You don't grab their wrist. You don't start a fight. You simply recognize the setup. You notice that something feels off. Your hand instinctively checks your bag or pocket. You keep moving. Maybe you signal a friend. You don't argue. You don't lean in. You don't take the bait. And just like that, the game falls apart. Because without your reaction, there's nothing to steal. And this is the same way you disarm a narcissist mid-conversation. You clock the setup. That split-second shift when a joke cuts too deep, when confusion isn't real, when guilt appears out of nowhere. You don't need a dramatic confrontation. You just need awareness and the calm decision not to play. Instead of stepping into their trap, you pause and tell yourself quietly, something feels off. It's no different from the way your hand instinctively goes to your pocket when you sense someone brushing too close in a crowded street. That tiny inward shift changes everything. Rather than giving your attention away, you draw it back to yourself, protecting what really matters, your energy, your confidence, your emotional balance. That single phrase works like cutting the wires on a puppet show. It interrupts the pull. It stops you from scanning their face for clues. Are they upset? Did I say something wrong? Do they honestly not understand me? Instead, you re-anchor to your own reality. You lean on your inner sense of truth, not on their performance. No evidence is required, no explanation, no back and forth debate. Just the clear knowing that this doesn't feel right. When you hold on to that clarity, you stop playing their game. You don't bend down to pick up what they've dropped, you don't reach for the map of their fake confusion, and you don't waste time defending against words you never said. You let the moment hang in the air without rescuing it, without softening the edges, without rushing to fix their mood. You remain steady and upright inside yourself. And that's where their spell breaks. Because the tactic only works if you react. Once you've seen the setup for what it is and named it to yourself, the illusion dissolves. You no longer feel obligated to perform. And without your performance, they have nothing left to feed on. That brings us to the close of today's talk. If anything I've shared resonated with you, don't keep it tucked away. Pass it along, because you never know who might need to hear these words at just the right moment. And if this space has offered you clarity or comfort, supporting it is simple. Tap like, hit subscribe, and you'll be helping this community grow so others can find the guidance they're searching for. I'm grateful you chose to spend your time here with me. I'll be back soon with more to share. Until then, be gentle with yourself, stay rooted in your own truth, and keep allowing your healing to unfold step by step.